There are various lipids found in the body and food. In this video, we are going to discuss the lipids, fatty acids, triglycerides, cholesterol, and phospholipids. Let's start with fatty acids. Fatty acids are strings of carbon with one end as a methyl group and the other end as an acid group, thus the name fatty acid. Now, there are different types of fats or fatty acids. Fatty acids differ by the number of carbons or the length of the chain. Fatty acids can be long or medium or short in length. Another difference in fatty acids is the number and placement of any double bonds between the carbons. One type of fatty acid is a saturated fat. In a saturated fat, you see that each carbon has the hydrogen atoms attached on all sides. It's saturated with hydrogen. There are no carbon-carbon double bonds. Foods high in saturated fats are generally solid at room temperature and from an animal product. These include things such as red meat, where the fat content can vary from very fatty to lean. Bacon is also high in saturated fat. Now, there is an exception to the rule of the food being solid at room temperature and from an animal product, and that is what we call tropical oils, such as coconut or palm oil. These oils are high in saturated fat, but they're soft at room temperature and from plants. High intakes of saturated fat may increase the risk for cardiovascular disease, including atherosclerosis or hardening of the arteries. The next type of fatty acid we will cover are monounsaturated fats. A monounsaturated fat has one double bond, or one carbon that is not saturated with hydrogen. Mono means one. Food sources of monounsaturated fat include avocados, olive and olive oil, canola oil, and nuts and nut butters and peanut butter. A diet high in foods in monounsaturated fats tends to lower LDL cholesterol in the blood, which is heart healthy, but it has little impact on HDL blood cholesterol levels. Poly means many, and with that terminology, a polyunsaturated fat, our next category of fatty acids, is a fat that has more than one carbon with a double bond. Polyunsaturated fats are named according to the location of the first double bond. Two main types of polyunsaturated fats are omega-3 and omega-6 fats. Omega-3 and omega-6 fats are important because they provide two essential fatty acids. The omega-3 family provides linolenic acid, and the omega-6 family of fats provides the essential fat called linoleic acid. Now, those two names are very close together. I always remember that the longer name, linolenic, goes with the shorter number, omega-3. Let's take a closer look at these two families of polyunsaturated fats. An omega-3 fat has the first double bond on the third, 1, 2, 3 carbon, the third carbon from the omega end. That's the end opposite the acid end. And an omega-6 fat has the first double bond on the sixth carbon from the omega end. Overall, omega-3 and 6 fats are important for health because they provide the essential fatty acids, and they may reduce the risk for heart disease by decreasing blood cholesterol levels. But there are some benefits that omega-3 fats have that are health promoting other than providing essential fatty acids. So let's talk about some of those. One is omega-3 fats can lower blood pressure. They can help prevent blood clot formation that may reduce the risk of heart disease. But if you consume or take omega-3 supplements in large amounts, that can lead to bleeding and bruising. Omega-3 fats can potentially protect against irregular heartbeats. And omega-3 fats tend to reduce inflammation in the body. Omega-6 fats tend to be more inflammatory, while omega-3 fats are anti-inflammatory. Omega-3 fats also play an essential role in brain and vision function and development, especially in infants. Let's look at the food sources of omega-3 fats. And we're going to talk about a couple of different types of omega-3 fats and the food sources. So let's first talk about EPA and DHA. These are long-chain omega-3 polyunsaturated fats, and they are generally referred to by their acronyms EPA and DHA because their names are quite long. EPA stands for eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA stands for docosahexaenoic acid, but they're just commonly referred to as EPA and DHA. Now, the health benefits that we just discussed coming from omega-3 fats come from EPA and DHA. And the foods that you find EPA and DHA in are cold water fatty fish such as salmon. Now, the other type of omega-3 fat is called ALA, or alpha-linolenic acid. And again, we just refer to it by its acronym, ALA. Now, ALA needs to be converted by the body to EPA and DHA to get the health benefits that we discussed. Now, our bodies are not really effective. It can range anywhere from 8 to 20% conversion, but we still get omega-3 fats in the form of ALA, and these come from plant sources such as canola, soybean, and flaxseed oil, and walnuts. So if you have a hard time finding fish like salmon or it's expensive, you can get omega-3 from less expensive foods like canola oils. Now, food sources of omega-6 fats include corn, safflower, soybean, and other vegetable oils, or foods made with these oils, such as mayonnaise or margarine. And many nuts, such as walnuts, cashews, and almonds, are also rich sources of omega-6 fats. Fatty acids are carried in food and in the body in a form called a triglyceride. A triglyceride is a combination of a glycerol backbone and 3 fatty acids. The name helps you remember the structure. Tri means 3, as in 3 fatty acids, and glyceride refers to the glycerol backbone, and thus the name triglyceride. The next lipid we will talk about is cholesterol. Cholesterol is produced by the liver, so it is not essential to consume cholesterol. And cholesterol does not provide any energy, unlike fatty acids that provide 9 calories per gram. A function of cholesterol is to serve as raw material to make things such as bile, vitamin D, and sex hormones. You can see the similarity in the structures of cholesterol and the items it helps make. Dietary cholesterol is only found in animal products, such as meat, eggs, and dairy. There is no dietary cholesterol found in plants. The last lipid we will discuss is a phospholipid. A phospholipid is similar in structure to a triglyceride in that it has a glycerol backbone, but a phospholipid has 2 fatty acids and then a phosphate group attached. The phosphate part makes it soluble in water, and the fatty acids make it soluble in fat, which makes this a great thing to have on your cell membranes, because we have this dual ability of being in water and fat. So one of the key roles of phospholipids are part of cell membranes. So let's summarize what we have talked about in this video. We talked about fatty acids, which include saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats. And we talked about 2 types of polyunsaturated fats, omega-3 and omega-6s. We discussed the structure of a triglyceride, which is a glycerol backbone with 3 fatty acids attached. We learned that cholesterol is produced by the liver, and the only food sources come from animals. And lastly, we reviewed the structure of a phospholipid and its function in the body and in cell membranes.